Ooh, I don't like that. That's better.
There we go.
And now where do we find this? Sorry, everybody. It's been 2 weeks. I'm a little out of sorts with it, but now the music is going down low. I turn it off.
It was pretty though.
We could start the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Positively Awesome Wrestling Show. It's been a long time. We should have left you, but now we're back for something for you not forget us, or however the song goes, you know. I am MITB, as always, and I'm joined by the man to the right of me, Albert. Albert, how the heck have you been, and how have you been enjoying wrestling for these past almost 3 weeks now?
Jimmy, we've been gone for so long, you've lost an appendage.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy.
This is nuts.
That's why I was doing better last week, everybody. Sorry. I try my best to not let things stop me, but that one got me. So
I can understand
sorry.
That. How dare you? How dare your appendix rupture and almost kill you? You son of a...
The good thing is it didn't rupture. Like,
thank God.
I woke up and there was pain in my chest, and I'm like, this isn't normal. I thought it was a gas. I was like, this isn't normal. And then I was like, I'll just walk it off. And then it just got worse and worse. And I'm like, I think I need to go get this thing checked out. So I went, and the doctor did all these tests, and he's like, I don't know what's wrong with you. And I'm like, what? What? He goes, you might have an appendix thing, but it's not where it's supposed to be. And then another doctor came and says, yeah, it's your appendix. So luckily that's all it was, and I'm good to go now. So
I've had kidney stones. I thought it was my appendix the first time I had a kidney stone. That was my first thought, and I was like, oh man, I hope that's not the case. So
yeah.
Glad
like
you're doing okay.
It was up here, and like when he said appendix, I was like, that's down here. He goes, yeah, so you know what's up. And I'm like, but it could have been so many different things. The kidney stones I dread. I hope I never have to deal with it. But
they were a nightmare. I had it happen twice. It's not fun. But
and it didn't stop me from watching Money in the Bank either. So all good, baby.
So first Saturday night main event that WWE ran when they came back with it, I had the doctor pulling an IV out of me as I was watching the opening. So, doesn't stop the wrestling fandom, right?
All right, let's get these comments out of the way, and then we're going to jump into Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
The cartoon guy looks like Kevin Owens, Harry says. Yes, that was kind of the inspiration when I just input the information into the thing, and because Kevin Owens is awesome. So, he was the inspiration, so you got it. Ron, hey, thank you for waiting, man. I much appreciate it. I greatly appreciate the wait. I'm sorry, but work called, and then someone called out, and that's why I was just a little bit late. Why do the hands look weird on the cartoon guy? AI sucks about stuff like that. That's all I can say. Yes, I did AI. Sorry, but it's just a cheap little thing I wanted to do.
We don't have money to do stuff like this.
Yeah, I'm not that into it. Like I love doing the show, but we did one graphic and that was it. I'll just do AI if I'm gonna make something, and I'm just gonna use this one forever now because it looks like Kevin Owens. So
right, mission accomplished.
First show without the appendix. Let's see if I can muscle through it, baby. What is up, Courtney? What is up? Thank you for joining. Glad to see you. Okay, thank you very much. I'm still struggling a little bit, but I'm good enough to work, so I'm good enough to do a show. That's how I see. And thank you, Harry. I am okay. And he says he had kidney stones too. Yeah. You dread? Like,
they're not.
It's the only time I saw my dad cry. And I watched. I didn't watch him get his finger cut off, but he had his finger cut off and he didn't cry. Kidney stones had him crying, so I'm like, no, I don't want to do that.
I went in there the first time that I had them, and the nurse said to me, she was like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how's your pain? And I said, this is the worst pain I've ever felt in my entire life. This is, if there's ever been a 10, this is an 11.
Yeah, I was like an 8. And I'm so sad that I didn't even think of it. Like, what's your pain level? I'm like, call me Mankind getting thrown off Hell in a Cell by the Undertaker. That's the kind of pain I'm in. I'm never in the right mind to have these smart little comments. So, well,
Yeah, well, it's hard to have an epiphany when your appendix is getting ready to rupture.
Oh my goodness, yeah. So, Money in the Bank happened. We were going to do the prediction show last week. Good thing it didn't for you. I would have slaughtered you, but it's gone.
Would you have?
Yes, absolutely. Who did you have for the men's winning?
I would have picked Seth.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Who did you have for the women?
Naomi. I actually picked them both. I don't think I picked. I don't think I would have. I don't know if I picked anything wrong. I'm trying to think. It was. Obviously we wouldn't have known about Dom, but I think we both would have went with Dom there.
Yeah.
I would have. I would have thought that Jay and Cody would have won because Cena's been undefeated basically since he's won the title.
Yeah.
What am I missing? There was one more match. Was there a women's title match?
Yeah, the Becky Lyra.
Okay, yeah, I would have nailed all of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you would have got.
And I'm not just saying that. You guys know me. I'm very honest. Those were legitimately my picks.
Hello, Ronald. Yeah, you would have got me then. I didn't pick Seth. I really thought it was LN8's time. So with that, I guess we could just start with that match, the men's Money in the Bank.
Sure.
Let's just play the whole which one was better game. Which ladder match do you think was better?
I actually enjoyed the women's match more.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're the first person of my group that I know of that said that. So that's nice to hear because I didn't hate it. I
like the men's one. I do admit that sometimes and it was necessary this time. But WWE is very reliant on those run-ins lately. And there's just a point where I'm like, okay, this is cool, but like enough's enough already. Like I figured we're gonna get Seth's guys out there. And if Seth's guys are gonna be out there, obviously you're gonna get, Solo's guys.
Yeah.
There was a point where so there was a need for it. And when it first happened, I was like, man, this is going to be cool, but what's the reason? Okay, Jacob turned on Solo. Yeah. There was a big reason. So cool. Okay, you paid it off this time. But a lot of the main events on Raw have really been run-in city. And it's getting a little bit annoying to me.
Remember when I asked you if the Seth Rollins thing felt like the Death Riders? So I'll ask again. Does the Seth Riders feel a lot like the Death Riders at this point?
Yeah.
And now he even has a briefcase.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
And look, don't get me wrong. I love the idea behind the group.
Yeah.
I love everybody in it.
It just feels a lot like that.
Yeah, it really does. And that was something that was universally disliked, even by the AEW fan base. Yeah. They're not big on the way the Death Riders have been booked. So, look, the one thing I will say is that at least Seth isn't champion yet. But if this is the preview to what's going to happen if Seth cashes in, I mean, they've got to give Braun and Bronson their own thing right now. I mean,
yes,
just let them tear through the tag division right now. Just let them beat up everybody.
I would assume Bronson's probably not ready for like full action yet. That's what I would assume.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like ease him back into it, but I mean they had Breaker and the 4-way on Raw, which was a great match. So I think they're just waiting for Bronson at this point. Ron.
By the way,
Becky and Lyra, I would have nailed all of them. Is wild. Out of Albert said it, not me. That's crazy, man. What are you thinking? Clipping that?
Not inaccurate, but I mean, that's not the point. That was what I was trying to say.
Yeah. I don't like Seth winning. I'm with you, Harry. I am not liking Seth winning.
So here's the thing. I get what everybody's saying, but and Jimmy, I know you've been off of Twitter for a long time, so you haven't seen my reaction to this. Here's my deal. I think that LA Knight, if he was going to win Money in the Bank, it should have been the first year he was in Money in the Bank. As a heel, I think it would have been much more beneficial. LA Knight winning the contract as a babyface, to me, dilutes the moment that LA Knight wins the world title, because I'd rather know. Okay, so my thing is that, and this ties into exactly where I'm going with, I want to give WWE credit for finally doing something that I've been asking for them to do for the past, 30 years. Yeah. If you're going to do King of the Ring, they should get a world title shot at SummerSlam. I've been saying this forever, and they're finally doing that.
Well, they did it last year.
And I'm glad that they're finally doing this.
Yeah.
This is the point where you make LA Knight king, and then he gets his title shot in that way. Look, I'm not saying you do it right now. Maybe right now is not the right time. But what I am saying is that I'd rather him win King of the Ring or Royal Rumble than I would Money in the Bank to get his first world title win. I think that when he gets his first world title win, it should be something that everybody knows when it's going to happen so that everybody can universally celebrate for it. The cash-in is a really good tool for somebody like Seth Rollins, who's already been a world champion. So when he does cash in, it's not going to be like, oh, man, I can't believe I missed Seth Rollins winning the world title. Well, we've seen that before. I don't like it as a babyface's first title win. It's okay as a heel. I don't like it for a face. And LA Knight for the past 2 years has been one of the most over babyfaces on the roster.
I agree with you to an extent. And had LA Knight, let's just say LA Knight had 10 more years in him, I would be with you probably 100%. But I think because of the fact that LA Knight's time, I don't think he's like next year he's on the decline. I think he's got like three good years left in him before you start to see like a decline on him, because it's not like he has a lot of miles on him. Even though he's been doing it for a long time, he's not someone who's been like busting. I don't mean to dilute him in any kind of way, but it's not like he's going out there wrestling 6-7 nights a week. Like, he has some miles left on him. But as champion, I can just imagine the pop when, let's just say, John Cena just won the title and he's celebrating, and then LA Knight hits. That crowd goes crazy. And then LA Knight wins it. They're going to go, they're going to go as crazy, if not more crazy, than the pop when they realize he's cashing in now. Because I feel like people are so ready for the moment. I will say this, though. It won't hurt my feelings if he never wins it. Sure. Because as I've said with Sami Zayn in the past, I think the list of people who we think should have won it is a lot more prestigious than the people who did win it at this point. Because it's such a smaller list.
There's like it's like a list of like 10 to 15 that are like really top guys that never got there.
I might have 6 on my list, and that's why I think it's such a prestigious list. So if LA Knight doesn't get there and he's part of that list, that's a great list to be a part. Roddy Piper, Scott Hall,
Mr. Perfect, British Bulldog, like those are guys that are on my list.
It's a great list. So I just thought it was the time, because I'm trying to think of who's going to take the title off John Cena, and I'm pretty certain at this point it's going to be Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
which I'm not mad at. But if it wasn't going to be Cody, who's it going to be?
I think it's going to be LA Knight.
I think LA Knight cashing in would have been great. I don't know if I see LA Knight going over John Cena one-on-one. I just don't see it.
So my caveat for this was that if LA Knight did win the Money in the Bank, he does have the opportunity to do what Rob Van Dam's the only person to do. And that's just say, hey, I'm cashing in. Or maybe Cena did it too, I think, when he won King of the Ring, right? When he won Money in the Bank. Hey, I'm cashing in at this date, at this time.
Braun Strowman did it.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So I think that would be the only way for me to salvage the LA Knight cash in. Yeah. But I also think that LA Knight's character, that doesn't lend well to LA Knight's character, because we know he's an opportunist. And he's not a guy who's going to turn around like pass up a great opportunity to get ahead. So I just, again, it just didn't fit. Money in the Bank to me doesn't fit LA Knight right now. In 2 years, if LA Knight was already a world champion and they wanted to put the belt back on him, sure. Right now, I just don't think it's a good, and that's my opinion.
Yeah, again, I'm not saying you're wrong, and I'm not even disagreeing with you wholeheartedly. I just think for a younger person, I get that 100%. But with him, with the clock ticking, I think it wouldn't be a cop-out for me at this point. Ron says, I think it's funny how nobody is considering the possibility of Seth Rollins cashing in on Cena. I'll do you one better. I don't think he cashes in on John Cena. I think he cashes in on Cody Rhodes the second he beats John Cena.
That's a good
Seth
good
Rollins
call.
Move.
Yeah,
because he despises Cody Rhodes. Even though they had their little friendly thing, no, he despises Cody Rhodes and he's jealous of him. And what better way to take his thunder than to just steal that big moment? Like, that's what I would think going from here. Now that we know Seth Rollins is Mr. Money in the Bank, ideally, and we would have talked about this to a great extent last week had we had the show, El Grande Americano winning and then cashing in an El Vikingo would have been my dream scenario.
That's
like
a good idea.
When he did the little poor monkey flam into the ladder, climbed the ladder, tilted onto the other ladder, climbed up, and headbutt Penta, I died laughing. It hurt me. I was so mad, but I was so happy at the same time. I was like, he's about to do it. I really thought he was about to win.
What a good moment.
And I probably would have ended up back in the hospital to get stitched back up or something, because I would have lost my mind. It would have been so cool, but it didn't. And I'm like, but the headbutt in itself, I love El Grande Americano.
Yeah, he's amazing, isn't he?
What better way to get WWE eyes? The Worlds Collide happened. I haven't watched it. Courtney asked earlier. I haven't watched it yet. I will be watching it tomorrow, probably, in between things.
I'll say this. I didn't. So I had rehearsal. No. I had a show the day it was on. So I was getting ready for my show. On my way to there, I watched the right before I watched the Gable Vikingo match.
I have no doubt in my mind it's amazing.
God.
Yeah.
Look, I was always a big fan of Vikingo. I always liked him, even in AEW when he was there. I always liked, to me, he's like the next evolution of what a high flyer is. He's the preeminent high flyer in pro wrestling right now. I don't think there's anybody better at that style. And seeing him and Gable, the stuff they brought out in that match, Jimmy, it's going to blow your mind. Like stuff that you haven't seen Gable do.
But I know it's love it.
Oh no, yeah, like stuff that you knew you'd be capable of, but you just haven't seen him do
it.
Right. Yeah. Oh my God, they tore the house down. Yeah. The crowd was so hot. It was the atmosphere, was like everything about it. It was such a fun event.
But again, my thing is, if you really watch AAA and you really want to get some of the WWE eyes on it, Worlds Collide did a really good job. Mr. Iguana is about to just be so rich.
Oh yeah,
having El Grande Americano taking that briefcase to that show I'm invested in WWE TV, and that's part of WWE TV, so I kind of have to pay attention to that at this point. And then can you think of like the heat that El Grande would get, not only for winning it, but doing it in a WWE way, in a loot, like in triple, like they would lose their minds. That would be just, I talked about having Dom unmask Ray in Mexico. I think this is almost as equal to that. Having this guy who is mocking your luchador culture in a respectful way, no matter what anyone wants to say about it. But in kayfabe, you're like, this son, like you hate him, and it would be so good. But Harry says, fun fact, every time multi-time Money in the Bank winner happened, 8 years apart from each other, except for one, CM Punk, back-to-back years. Partner. Someone else might have, I don't know, but I know CM Punk won it back-to-back, so he'd go. I think Zayn is winning King of the Ring. I'm not mad at that.
I'd be okay with that, but again,
I've been pushing Zayn for years now. So.
I feel like whoever wins that's not coming out. Look, I don't think that Gunther took the title off of Jey Uso just to put it back on, pass it back to Sami Zayn, and I also don't see Zayn choosing Cena.
I don't. Maybe this is his first.
I would love it. I would love it.
It's his first match in Raw, and he.
No, it would be an excellent callback. I would love it.
But
I just don't think so.
The night after, like the show after WrestleMania, we did our Money in the Bank predictions, and Sami Zayn was the guy I chose to win Money in the Bank. So, like, I'm not mad at Sami Zayn getting any opportunity, because I feel like he was held down for so long that it's only right that he's, one, having the run that he's on now and get pushed the way he does. It's deserved. And two, I think he deserves that moment. I think it'll be a Mick Foley level moment when he wins that title. And my only gripe would be I want him to beat Kevin Owens for it. But at this point, I just don't think that's possible. So if this is what we're doing, and there's a story that I don't think he would beat Gunther the first time after winning King of the Ring. I think it would be a redemption thing. I've seen some of people saying that, like Daniel Bryan at when he did SummerSlam with John Cena, just kind of like that, but don't have Sammy win that match. That's kind of So
yeah.
Albert said on commentary, Ron says this, said on commentary that King of the Ring is supposed to be equal to the world title. I will never buy into that.
They say a lot of stuff on commentary that ain't true.
Maybe not equal to it, but it should be something that's a catapult to it.
Right.
Kind of like the Intercontinental title should be a catapult to the world title. Yeah. I wouldn't put Cesaro on that list, Harry. I just don't. He's really great. I just don't think he's on that list of, again, Scott Hall, Roddy Piper, Mr. Perfect.
If there's a tier down, I think he's in that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Harry also says he thinks that Zayn wins it and chooses Cena.
Interesting.
Ron says, could you imagine a Bray, rest in peace, if he had won and had a briefcase? Yeah, that would have been cool.
Bray would be Bray's the ultimate character for that gimmick anyway, because everything he does, the lights go off and on anyway. So it makes perfect sense for him to just hold the money in the back. Right.
His briefcase could be the lantern. Like they could literally construct it to something like that. Oh my God. Ron says, bad idea time. Cena goes on a revenge tour targeting Roman Solo in theory for victors over him during the multi-year losing streak. I don't think
that'd be a great idea. And then he can lose all of them.
I think John Cena's just at the character's at a point where he's like, I don't care. Like he doesn't let things bother him. So I don't think he would go back to on revenge things. He'd be like, they're beneath me at this point. Brooklyn Joker, what is up? Thank you for joining. He says El Grande Americano is Chad Gable because WWE made a El Grande Americano mask and the sticker set. That's because Chad Gable is his manager.
No. That's not the truth. I know the answer to this. WWE could not put El Grande on the mask because they would confuse it with the size. So Grande would be large, but if it was you can't write Grande on. You know what I mean? It wouldn't make sense. What they did is that they used they put Gable in there as a placeholder because Chad Gable's his best friend. The idea is that, okay, it's his best, we'll put his best friend's name on there, but if we can't use the word Grande because it would confuse everybody because Grande is a size. See, it all makes sense. That's the reason why. There's no conspiracy here. They're not the same person.
I've seen a picture of there's a back tattoo on in between the shoulder blades that Chad Gable has and El Americano Grande does not.
I've seen that picture too.
So I don't know. You don't know. You do have
also Chad Gable also said that he lent El Grande Americano his boots and he stretched them out. If they were the same person, El Grande Americano could have stretched them out. Yeah, exactly. Come on, guys.
You do have another question, Brooklyn. I'll get to it in just a second. I just want to, I guess, real quick. Are you? Because I already said that I wasn't. You're okay with Seth winning Money in the Bank, though?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I think that it fits the character. I think that if you're going to put him, look, here's the thing. This is the same thing that when people talked about Brock ending the streak, I said, look, the only way Brock ending the streak is going to end up being good is if they inevitably push Brock as this unstoppable monster for years afterwards. And they did. So it makes sense. In kayfabe, it's like, okay, he ended the streak and he also beat the crap out of everybody he faced afterwards. So great. I feel the same with this. It's essentially, if you're going to put Heyman.
Real quick. Essentially, Brock Lesnar took the Undertaker's spot as that guy that when you had to face, you're in trouble. Because Undertaker could no longer really fill that spot for them. And the best way to do that is say, okay, well, this is the guy that put him to the pasture, so now he's king dog. Like, it makes sense. I know a lot of people are like, Ron, I don't think he was that. I think he was feared. I don't think he was on the level of someone where like, okay, Brock's always going to win.
Right. I just remember he came back. He came back and he lost to Cena immediately.
And he lost to Triple H too, didn't he?
Yeah. Like he wasn't like this infallible monster. He was just like another guy. That elevated him to like that killer, beast mode kind of level.
I totally get that people were not cool with it or not happy with it. As fans, you should have been. People are like, no, Undertaker should have never lost. That's kind of the point. It made you hate Brock Lesnar even more and also realize, okay, he's a real problem because he didn't have to cheat or anything to do it. Like he literally just beat him. Like it was one of the greatest WrestleMania moments I've ever watched live. Like what? Because it was just like what? That's what I'm looking for in wrestling. Whether and in the end, it turned out to be a good decision because again, like you said, they pushed him like a monster afterward. Like they should have. If they would have done like they did with Cesaro after Cesaro won the first Andre the Giant Battle Royal, okay, boo-boo on them. That was a bad decision. But they did.
Baron Corbin retiring Kurt Angle.
Bad decision because they didn't capitalize on it.
Right. So. Now, if Baron Corbin was a 3-time world champion at this point, everybody would go, okay, we can forgive him for it. Yeah. So I think that's my thing with this Money in the Bank. I can forgive WWE for it at this point because I think that there's a point where you have to understand that Paul Heyman has managed the guy since he's come back in that run. It was at first he came back on that run with Brock. And then we just talked about it. Brock established himself as the guy. He beats the Shriek, right? He wins the world title. He's this unstoppable monster. I think he came close to setting records for world title length if he didn't. And then Roman ended up beating him afterwards. He turns on Brock and he goes to Roman. And Roman is the guy forever. If you're going to keep that attitude, you got to make Seth the guy. What's the way to do it? Got to put him in the world title picture. He's got to be a threat. So if you can't make him world champion yet, Money in the Bank is the perfect thing because he's now a looming threat everywhere he goes. He's a main character on the show. He's the guy. You need that if you're going to invest all this. And again, they're not just investing Heyman in Rollins. They're investing Heyman in Breakker and in Braun as well, and Bronson Reed as well. This is a big investment for all of these guys. It's a very important thing that Seth Rollins gets off to a hot start with this group, because if not, it's all for nothing, right? I think Money in the Bank's the right place to do that.
I think I would be less I'm not upset about it. Like I get it. I guess I would be more inclined to just be like on board with it fully if the storyline just did not feel like it was so similar to the storyline on the AEW show. That I think that's why I'm like, come on. Because I love Seth Rollins, and I think that he's put in the work over the years to kind of get pushed the way other guys have gotten pushed. It never happened before. Like, he literally had to bust his ass to get the opportunities he was getting. And now Triple H is like, you know what? No, you're my guy. You're my boy. It's time to give you those flowers that you deserve for all the work you've done. So I'm okay with it for that aspect. I think it's just because it's too similar. I'll get to your question, your thing about Naomi in a minute, Harry. I wanted to get this question with Brooklyn Joker before we get to the women's Money in the Bank. I got a question for both of you. Since there's a mystery person in King of the Ring, who do you think it will be? For me, I think it will be Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is in one of the matches, so he can't be the mystery person. But I am interested to hear your take on who you think it might be.
Everybody's going to hate me for saying it.
No, you're not. Maybe.
Jey Uso.
Yeah, no, you get out of here. Muted and booted, baby.
I do.
Muted. I muted them. They ain't doing that. No yeets. We're done with that. We are done with that. I'm going to. Oh my god! If they run back Jey Uso and Gunther, I will be mad.
I have a few. Look, there's just as soon as he lost the title, and they said that, and Michael Cole specifically said on commentary, General Manager Adam Pearce has the right to insert another person into this tournament. I have a feeling that he's going to have somebody in mind in kayfabe, and Jay's going to go back and be like, "Oos, I need my shot. I can't. I know that King of the Ring's coming up. I can't get it immediately. Let me get it." I just have the feeling.
No yeet.
I love Jey Uso. I don't want that either. I don't want it either. Look, a lot of people are saying the two biggest ones are Cross and Ilya Dragunov.
I was going to bring up this one, Ilya Dragunov.
I don't know if Dragunov is ready yet. I know he's close, apparently. There are a lot of people pushing for Cross. I understand that too. Actually, Harry stole my answer. If I was going to pick anybody, I would. Why is AJ Styles not in this?
Okay, so I'll go down this list here. The Ilya one, when I did injury lookups earlier this year, when we were talking about who we would add for the extra member of the Seth Riders, you're welcome. I was looking up injury times, and Ilya's was September. So I don't think, but then again, John Cena came back from his really quick. So, I mean,
I know I was at that Royal Rumble.
Ilya is kind of like a monster like that. So, I mean, I guess he could essentially, and he kind of fits the rest of the wrestlers in that match.
He does a bunch of just hard hitting.
So I wouldn't be mad at Ilya.
No.
Man, I'm about to have to fix this real quick. I'm going to let's pull this one up. I just did this one. Ron says Roman. My goodness, man.
Imagine.
That would Roman ain't wrestling those boys. He'll get beat up.
That's the most painful. That's the most painful match he's going to be in.
Oh my goodness.
Combine all of his matches into one. Like, damn.
Hey, but if it got me Roman and Gunther, which Albert literally just put into the universe earlier this year, and I was like, whoa, that's a match I never really thought about wanting to see, but that'd be cool. I won't be mad at that. And then carrying Cross, everyone wants Cross. Yeah,
I don't hate it. I don't hate it, but I also don't know if King of the Ring is the right avenue for Cross.
AJ should be in King of the Ring.
I agree.
He is after the Intercontinental Championship, though, so I think that's the road he's going to go down. I don't know why.
To be fair,
up in it, but
to be fair, Dom's the Intercontinental Champion, and he was in it. So I mean,
yeah, because he's the GOAT.
I'm not going to disagree there. I'm just saying I think AJ. Like if anybody, I looked at the roster. If anybody really kind of deserves it more than anybody else, it's AJ.
So
Ron Killings is a great shout. That's a great shout.
Man, he would get his ball whooped.
But what a way to make him come back as to be looked at as serious, because
that's what he wants,
right?
And the Chris Van Vliet interview, he did say, like, he goes, I kind of look at my position and realize it's not a thing, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to be there. So, hey, he earned the right to do it. Honestly,
you saw that promo on Monday, right?
I mean, the fans literally brought him back. So
yeah,
heck yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at that. I'm gonna say, El Grande Americano, gracias. That's who I think it should be. 100%.
That's a great idea. He's undefeated.
Grande Americano. We talked about this last until SummerSlam. That would be it. No. This thing can go on forever at this point, for all I care.
He's undefeated. How could you?
Brooklyn Jugger says, what about the return of Big E? I don't think they would do that on like kind of a random episode of Raw. And then I don't see him going on to win it. So it would be like, I just can't see it. It would have to be New Day involved for me.
If I will say this, though, if that happens, I will literally cry happy tears.
Yeah.
Like, I am not even kidding. Like, I'm not usually that emotional of a human being. That would literally make me cry to see that, like, not only is, look, he's healthy and he's living a healthy life, and that's the greatest thing ever. But for him to return the ring, for me, it's just next level. Yeah, I don't know if it'll ever happen, but the day it does, if it does, forget about it. Like, I don't know if I'd ever shut up about it.
Yeah, I would not be against it at all. Just make sure. Like, I love Big E, so I'm looking at the scenario and I'm like, no, because again, I think New Day has to be involved after the heel turn they had, and then again, I don't see him winning it. So it's like, I don't know if I would waste my return on that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Let's see. I love trying to think outside the box with my predictions. I love it too, man. I love your predictions because they are wild, and I love wild because, one, it's fun to just speculate. That's why we're fans. We're gonna speculate crazy theories, and it's fun that way. And two, if it ends up being true, you're like, wow. So go crazy with it.
Yeah. Can we get into the women's Money in the Bank? Because I really want to talk about how proud I am of Naomi.
Oh, we're about to. Ron says someone snapped on him on X for defending Punk in light of this. Don't. You didn't respond, and you did the right thing. Don't respond. These people are insane.
So look, I'm gonna. I tweeted this out.
You can do this.
Sure.
And I'll be right back. Yeah.
So I tweeted this out, and I think this is the best way. If you're a WWE fan or you're a CM Punk fan right now, I think the best way to handle this is to not even engage, because right now the fact is this. Look, Punk never said what he said, and I'm guessing that when he said it, because he also deleted it right afterwards, it was his way of, snapping at somebody because he was angry. We get like that sometimes. He obviously regretted it, which is why he deleted it, right? I don't think that meant that that's the way he feels, but that's how people, he said it. So that's the way he feels, and that's his feelings, and that's his feelings forever because he said it. And it's like, dude, we can change. Humans evolve. There's a lot of different things going on politically with Saudi Arabia right now that actually aligns with Punk politically in a lot of different ways. I'm not getting into that now because that's not the time or place. What I will say is this. This is Christmas for these people. Even though they're wrong, all they wanted was a moment of hypocrisy from CM Punk, and they've gotten it. Now, this is their Christmas. Give them a week to celebrate this, and if you don't say anything, it'll just go away. That's the way it is with a lot of this stuff. The more you pay attention to it, the more you add fuel to the fire, the longer this stuff drags out. It's the same thing as people for a while, over the past like day and a half now, I've been saying that this event that the WWE went to in celebration of the Army's 250th birthday was a Trump rally. No, it wasn't.
Oh.
It was an Army event for the birthday of that the commander-in-chief of the United States of America, who was in control of the Army, was attending. Of course he would be there. Why wouldn't he be there? He's the commander-in-chief of the Army. That's where he would be. You going to a place where a president doesn't make it a Trump rally. And then also people like, well, he selected people that should be there. Yeah, because he's the commander-in-chief of the Army. He's allowed to do that. Is it right? That's not neither here nor there. But the optics of trying to paint the WWE as a pro-MAGA or these wrestlers as a pro-MAGA
wrestlers is the problem.
Pro-MAGA people just to score brownie points in a Twitter war that doesn't exist between two promotions that aren't even the only place where the competition really exists is between fans online is the most asinine and ludicrous thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. And this is why I don't like wrestling fans, because you're the same thing with Punk. You're turning something that was something so small that he deleted that probably, like I said, you missed this part. I said he probably just snapped at that. He was mad. He said it. Then he deleted it. That doesn't mean that means that that's the way he's felt for the rest of his life.
So, real quick about this,
please.
The Trump thing is absolutely hilarious because I saw one of these ones that really pushes that tribalistic account. I'm back on Twitter. I got bored. I am back on Twitter, and I saw this one dude, and he said he basically was pushing it as these guys are pro-Trump because they're the thing, and then someone literally pointed out to him, no, that's not a Trump rally. This was in honor of the services, and they were there to honor them, and Trump just happened to be there. And he goes, yeah, I don't care. That was his response. Those are the people that don't argue with these people, because that's exactly the reason you don't right there. Like, he literally was giving facts that basically made his little meltdown seem stupid, and he's just, I don't care. So, and also, I'm with the Punk thing. I'm going to laugh so hard when the Seth Riders take CM Punk out and he doesn't wrestle at Saudi Arabia.
I was thinking the same thing too. There's a good chance that could be the case. I won't lie. Well.
Part of me wanted to come back so that I can watch that happen and then demand apologies from every single one of them, because I will do it. I will do it in a heartbeat. Apologize, sir. Apologize, because you're an idiot. Because I look at CM Punk and John Cena, that's a SummerSlam 2-night main event. That's not a Clash of Champions thing. That's just my take. So we'll see. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Whatever. I just honestly, I don't think it's happening.
Look, so I think that this is the match that we all knew we wanted when Cena said he's only got a limited amount of people that he's going to wrestle. It's going to happen one way or another.
Yeah.
But there's a chance that it doesn't happen in Saudi. Yeah. And if it does, and even if it does, who cares? It doesn't, honestly, it really doesn't make a difference, because there are other people who have all said, I would never go there too. And then they ended up going, and no one made a big deal out of it. The only reason why it's a big deal, it's because it's CM Punk, and CM Punk left AEW, and it's the AEW fans who don't like him that need to score brownie points. And despite the fact that he has not changed anything morally about himself by going to WWE, they feel he has, because he took a bigger paycheck. And
I will say,
God forbid you want to make money.
I will say this too. At Saturday Night Main Event, when he tagged with Sami Zayn, he did the trunks with Sami Zayn to support him.
Right.
Sami Zayn, this would be another way to show support for your people that you're in the back with, and not get. And we all know Punk does not care what people's perception of him is. He just doesn't. So, I don't think it's happening. I truly don't. But we'll see. And if it does, okay, whatever. You got him on whatever you creating in your head.
If you feel like that's a got you for you, great. And that's why I said ignore it, because this is gonna be a victory lap that they're gonna take. That isn't I don't know what the victory lap is. It doesn't. Yeah. There's nothing.
This is the part.
Nothing changes.
This is the part of wrestling fandom that, again, I just never understood. What does that have to do with the wrestling shows that we're watching? Y'all are not wrestling fans. You're wrestling backstage drama fans.
Exactly. Watch Total Divas then.
Yeah. But I'm going to address this part real quick, and then we'll get to women's Money in the Bank. Where'd it go? Harry says, come on.
Harry's I'm going to make Harry happy and mad.
And the GOAT, Nikki Bella, returned on Raw. She's going to whoop Liv Morgan. How in the heck are you going to say she's going to whip Liv Morgan when Liv Morgan left her laying there in the center of the ring? I want to point out Liv Morgan, when she came out barking at Nikki, loved it. She's like, no. You will not. Yeah, you can yawn all you want. You know she was dropping truth bombs, buddy. How you going to talk about the best in the company and leave my name out your mouth when she's the one that's carried that women's division since she won the title from Becky Lynch? That's nonsense. And I can't wait for her to stomp Nikki Bella. You can bring Baby Bella back and she'll stomp her too. How dare you? How dare you, man? Go ahead. Piss him off. He deserves it for so nonsense.
So I will say this. I told him this. I don't know if you saw this.
Great comment, Ron. Great comment.
100%.
Thank you.
I don't know if I could have a feud that I'm less interested in than this. I was never a Bella's fan. You know, I'm not a big Liv Morgan fan, but I found it to be funny that you're such a big Liv fan. Harry's such a big Nikki fan. And I was like, man, this is like, I'm in between like these two going, can you wait? Just let me know when this is over. You know, it's not for me. That's fine, you know?
I wouldn't consider myself a Liv Morgan fan. I'm just happy that, one, I was right about her. And two, like, I do feel like she busted her butt to get where she's at. And she got this opportunity and she ran with it. And I love to see people get these opportunities and make something of it. And she's done that. And she's killed it. There's been no falter. She got hold of that brass ring that people talk about, and she's not letting go of it. And that's awesome. And I support people who do that. She just so happens to be with the GOAT. So obviously by that, I'm like, okay, Liv, go. I'm not like, it's not like I'm a stan here that's like, Liv Morgan is the best. I just think she's really good. She never got the opportunity. She got the opportunity and she's killing it. And I love it. And that was honestly her best promo I've heard her cut on Nikki Bella to date, because when she was saying it, I felt like it felt real. Like she was like, no, you're not going to leave me out of this. Like it was, to me, it was great. So I give Liv her flowers. I wouldn't even say she's a top 5 female wrestler for me. It's like, as far as the ones I like, but again, I do think she's great. So,
but I do want to point this out, because this is something Ron just brought up about AJ Lee. This is something that kind of all ties into that. So as much as, I will say this, Jimmy, everything you said is 100% true. I think that Liv has improved. I think she's gotten better. I think she's the best version of Liv Morgan right now than she's ever been. Yeah. And that's great. She's just not my personal cup of tea, and that's fine. Look, everybody has, and here's the thing about it. She gets a huge pop every time she comes out. She gets a monster reaction. So whatever she's doing is working. If it's not working for me, that's fine. It's just not working for me. That's okay.
Liv to you is Jey Uso to me.
Sure, there you go. Great way to put. That's a great way to put it. No. Now, same thing with Nikki Bella. I am not a Nikki Bella fan at all.
I can't stand Bella.
I didn't like the Bellas when they were in WWE. I didn't like them when they left WWE. But what I won't take is revisionist history. And what I don't like is, okay, I'm not a fan of the Bellas, but they had monster impact on the industry. Monster impact. And the fact that people were were mad that Io was like, oh, you paved the way for me. First of all, I love when the internet immediately melts down in reaction, because the first thing that they said was Io was wrestling far longer than Nikki Bella was. You know, they actually debuted like within months of each other.
That's not even the point, though.
That was the first thing. Then the second thing was Nikki Bella is nowhere near as good as Io. Who cares? I don't give a crap. We're on Spotify, so I have to stop. I don't give a crap about that. That doesn't make a difference. Someone's in ring. Look, Hulk Hogan was an awful in-ring wrestler. It doesn't take away the impact he had on the industry. And the Bellas, with the Give Divas a Chance movement, spearheaded that with Paige and AJ Lee, and they finally got more women on more wrestling programs for longer periods of time and led to the women's evolution. It was the work that the Bellas specifically, along with a bunch of other people, put in. You can sit there and dislike the Bellas like I do. I don't like them, but you can't sit there and say that they didn't have an impact. That's just nonsense. False. It's not true.
I'll say this, and as much as people want to hate on like the Divas show, that without the Bellas, that Divas show, that what is it? Total Divas?
Yeah, Total Divas. And then it was Total Divas, and then they got Total Bellas.
That show, Total Divas never happens without the Bellas.
Of course not.
And Total Divas kind of gave people an opportunity to see, okay, people are actually tuning in to see these women. Let's give them more opportunity. Like Total Divas is just as big a part of the women's revolution as the wrestling and rings. Like,
yes,
argue with a wall. I don't care. I won't listen to you if you disagree with it, because it did play a significant part in WWE getting women on the show more. And I'm not a Bella fan. I've never liked them. But again, like the same thing with him and Liv and me and Jay. Like, just because I don't like them doesn't mean that I can't understand the significance and importance of them. But
wrestling fans have this real quick. Wrestling fans have this idea that unless you're a great in-ring wrestler, you can't do you've contributed nothing to the industry. And it's like, no. That's just not true. And you've got to get over yourself.
That's your own self-evaluation. Right. And okay, have that. That's fine, but it doesn't make you right. Courtney says she's calling Nikki and Brie versus Judgment Day at Evolution. I think it's possible. I think it's
looks
possible.
Like it. Looks like it to me.
Liv's still gonna smack them both.
Look, I think that. Look, if you're gonna bring the Bellas back for anything, I think that the Women's World Tag Team titles is a perfect place for them to come back, right?
Yeah.
Like that's
they never won them, did they?
No, because they debuted I would say like a year or two after like Nikki fully did her second retirement. Okay. So yeah,
this is a funny comment I wanted to get up there. Imagine Brett saying what EO said to Hogan, you get what I'm saying. Imagine and you know what? It'll never happen because Brett is just a bitter old man.
Right. But that's the comparison you can make, though. Yes, Brett is a billion times more talented, but you're going to say that, Hogan? But Brett will admit, hey, I wanted to be on Hogan's house shows because he made me the most money when I was on them. That's...
Bro, Harry, I'm not even going to comment on this. You got to be kidding me. I love Carmella, though, so that's okay. Still waiting... Okay, Women's Money in the Bank, and then we'll do the comments. Sorry, I can't get them all in, guys. We're running low on time. Women's Money in the Bank. So, again, the show we did after WrestleMania, we did our predictions. And I said that not only was I a big fan of what Naomi did at WrestleMania, I thought she made the perfect sense to win Money in the Bank on that show.
And I agreed with you.
Did. And my God, I could not be happier for this woman because everyone's they're never going to use. It's like, be patient. Just be patient, guys. She's going to get what she deserves, and she got it. And I look forward to the moment she cashes that thing in on Jade Cargill in Atlanta when she wins the title from Tiffy Time. Oh. Proceed with caution, Jade. You're next. Oh, my God. I'm so excited.
Real quick, I just want to throw this out there. If you haven't seen it, watch Tiffany Stratton throw out the first pitch of the Mets game.
Oh, I did. It's hilarious. That was
that's that. Okay. I have been an advocate for everything Naomi since she's returned. I think that the run that Naomi had after leaving WWE in TNA really showed WWE how many times are we dropping the ball with this woman? I don't she's having great matches. She's got great character work, everything she's doing. And I think that Triple H finally saw that and said, all right, let's bring her back and let's do something with her. And to be fair, I know a lot of people are like, she's been pushed to the side, but I feel like it was for a reason.
Yeah.
I think that was the build to this story was, okay, it's the big three, and then they won the tag titles, and now it's the big two. And it's, what about Naomi?
The only time she was forgotten was when it was part of the storyline for her to be forgotten, for her to come back and get her revenge on the woman that made her be forgotten. Like it was. I'm not saying that they planned her to win the Money in the Bank this year ever since her return. No, I do think that they had a plan with that whole scenario though, and it played out, and it's working really well for Naomi. So,
and I think that her work in that story
was great,
propelled her to get this position. Look, the one thing I will say about the way that WWE booked this is genius. I love that they put somebody like Rhea in this because everybody went, great, here we go again. And I was like, good. That's what I want. Like, I want that red herring in there, you know? You want that person in that everybody's going to be like, great, it's just going to be Rhea again. Like, no, I'm glad that they did that, you know? I liked who they put in the match because I think that they performed very well. I think Roxanne Perez is
the MVP of the match.
She might be the MVP of pro wrestling right now. Like I never like when she debuted at NXT, my immediate reaction, and I'm sorry, but it's just when I see someone who's very diminutive, there's a lot of issues I have that they just can't perform like a lot more like lifts and power moves and stuff like that. Roxanne Perez is like the exception to the rule of everything. I've never seen anybody use their size to their advantage more than her, maybe since Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, I was literally about to say Rey Mysterio. Like,
she's unbelievable.
Wait, stop kayfabe. Rey Mysterio, like, and kayfabe. That man's deadbeat and he sucks booty. But yeah, Roxanne is awesome. She's been awesome since they called her up. I was never like when she got called in NXT. She's obviously really good. I'm not saying she's not, but I don't think she was clicking until she did the heel turn in NXT. And even though I don't even consider her to be a heel on the main roster now, I think she's kind of a tweener, and I think that heel turn gave her that comfortability to be on camera.
Yes.
And now she's killing it. She's absolutely killing it. I laughed at a friend of mine who said that he thinks Roxanne is one of the best in the world a few months ago. I laughed at him. I was like, get out of here, man. But now I'm like, man, maybe he wasn't wrong. Like, based on my viewing and what I know about wrestling, like, I don't think he's wrong. I would put her in the top 5 at this point based on, like,
she's so good
from the in-ring down to everything. I think she's fantastic. Harry, no, she is not going to be Dom's new girl because Dom already has a girl and her name is Liv Morgan, and Dom would never do that. Never.
I don't think he's ever cheated on anybody ever.
Never. Liv treats him well. Why would he do that? That's stupid.
We've already established that, you know, Roxanne got nuggets confused with tendies, you know?
Yeah, so she ain't worried.
Off to a bad start.
But yeah, Roxanne, I think, was the MVP of the match. I think Stephanie Vicker, whereas she wasn't as involved as I would have liked her to have been, she was working double duty, so I can't blame her. I think she still had her moments and she stood out.
That devil's kiss on the ladder is the most viral thing that's going on the internet right now.
Yeah. And, I think this was the best women's lineup they've ever had.
Yeah.
I had Naomi winning, but I literally went down the list and was like, I think they all could potentially win it.
There was no bad choice.
Even Julia, I think, could have won it. Because it could have been what she needed to kind of get over the hump.
Right.
Which is why I don't want Seth winning, because he don't need to get over the hump. But
that's
for another thing. So, yeah.
But I think this made sense for Naomi. Yeah. And she's a heel. Sure. It works so well for her.
100%.
Yeah. It's going to be so good.
As soon as she won it, that kind of sold it in my head. LA Knight's going to do it. Because I thought it was heel and babyface. Then I was like, wait, they're both on SmackDown. And then like, Grande's not on SmackDown though. Woo. But it didn't happen. So I like the match. I don't hate the match at all. I thought it was really entertaining. I hate many of the matches on the show.
Same here.
I like them all.
By the way,
the chaos of the men's one.
I know we don't have a lot of time to talk about stuff. So really quick, main event. It is what it is. I think we're both happy that Ron Killings is back. The main event was what it was, right? Can Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria have a bad match?
No.
So Lyra was another one that when she first debuted in NXT, I was like, she's good. Like, what a good wrestler she is.
Yeah.
Nothing else about her screams star. She's a good wrestler. Like, she's going to be a really good mid-card champion. Like, you know, and like that's where I thought her ceiling was. This feud, the mic work, the intensity, the matches, she's a top star. She is unbelievable. She blew me away. I mean, my thoughts on Lyra have just, exploded to the next level. She's just a star after all that.
I have friends in my little chat group that despised Lyra. They called her like they'd rather watch paint dry than watch Lyra. They said yes, she's good in the ring, but man, is she boring. Every single one of their opinions has switched since Becky Lynch has gotten the program with her. But the funny thing is, they all think Becky Lynch sucks too, and I'm like, yo, you realize that Becky Lynch is the one that has gotten this out of her.
Yeah,
this is why I call Becky the GOAT, because not only does she have the accolades, she literally makes everyone better that she works with. It's never not been the case.
It's true.
She gets the best out of these girls, and their feud. They're just going to keep wrestling. Yeah, when it's good, why would you not?
Yeah, is that a bad thing?
Every single match top the previous one. So yeah. Absolutely. I think it's great. And I can't wait to see who Becky puts over for the IC title. I don't think she drops it back to Lyra. I don't think she does. So I'm very curious as to who she will put over next. Thank you, Becky. This is why she's the big time Bex. This is why she gets paid the big bucks.
That's why she's the man.
She is the best.
She's the man. There's no doubt about it. Look, at the end of the day, you can say whatever you want. Becky Lynch has proven her. And by the way, I love that they've inserted Bayley back into this feud now. Yeah. Give me all of that. Just give me all the Bayley you possibly can. But
I really love the fact that they waited it until Raw to do it and didn't do it on the show because of the run-ins we had in the men's Money in the Bank and the run-in we had in the main event with Ron Killings. Like, I love that they were smart enough to say, let's wait. Let's make this a moment on Raw. Like, that's brilliant. Because then you're not oversaturating the show with the same stuff over and over again. So,
hey, Harry, good shout.
Buddy.
Good shout.
I'm mad at it. Because I think Rhea is knocking on the door. I think Rhea has the most potential right now to dethrone Becky as the greatest women's wrestler of all time. I think she has every tool necessary to do that. Stephanie Vicker is my new favorite women's wrestler. She's fantastic.
We stand Stephanie Vicker in this house. I've liked her since she's debuted. She's from Chile. Tamara was born in Chile. Tamara loves her. That's it. That's like
when her and Julia came in together, I know all the hype was with Julia, and I wasn't familiar with really either one of them. I'd seen very little of them, so I tuned in because I wanted to. I want to see the hype. And whereas Julia is clearly a really good wrestler, I'm not knocking her at all. Something about Stephanie Vicker stands out more. I think she just connects with the audience more. And maybe it's that move. I don't and Booker T part. I don't know. Honestly, me, that's not the thing though.
Yeah. Like that had nothing. Yeah.
I hate Booker T for what he was doing with that. I think it was stupid and it takes away from her in general. But she just has something. She's
got an it factor. There's just something about her that's like she screams star. You see her across your television, like, oh, she's a star. It's the same thing as what everybody saw when they saw Rhea Ripley at like the first, that like when she switched from just being this tall blonde girl and she, changed her look, they went, oh, she's a star. Like I think that's the thing. There's just certain people you look at and you go, that's money right there.
And she's fantastic in the ring. Like she's literally is fantastic in the ring.
Like, I mean, you had somebody like the Ultimate Warrior who looks like crap, who was crap in the ring, but looked like $1 million. She's the full package.
So, and I like that WWE is going all in on her because in the interview she talked about this, where they offered her a certain amount of money and they said, "We're not going any higher. If you want more money, AEW is your spot." And she goes, "No, this is my dream. This is where I want to be." And she signed with them, and they're rewarding her for it. Thank you. Like, if she went up to AEW, I would not be like talking crap about her. I legit think she's awesome. That's not the case.
Yeah.
I do love the fact that she got to live out her dream and she's being rewarded for taking the discount. I know a lot of people are like, that's stupid. Shut up. That's her dream, not your dream.
Look,
why would you clown on someone for living their dream?
It's the same thing going on right now with Blake Monroe. Mariah May goes from AEW, and by the way, I showed Tamara, who's a huge Sabrina Carpenter fan. I showed her the vignette, and I showed her like the Sabrina Carpenter thing. She goes, "Oh my God, that's so like that. That was really cool. Like that's such an inventive idea." And that to me, in no way, shape, or form did I think that this was in any way a Toni Storm gimmick.
Yeah, it is. And you're wrong.
Apparently, I got told this 100 times yesterday.
So, real quick before we sign off, I will point this out. Like, if you ever needed an example of people who live in a wrestling bubble,
right?
This is it. Like, again, you're gonna attach Toni Storm to her just because of their feud, which was the greatest women's feud of all time.
Yes,
it's the greatest women's program.
Like you win a wall. It's
like,
I mean, one of the best women's programs ever.
And to me, it is. There's no one like Trish and Mickie James might come close, not even close. It's like there's a huge gap there. I think it was that fantastic. So you're obviously going to attach Toni Storm to anything she does, but to say that it's a ripoff is hilarious. And again, shows what kind of bubble you live in.
They're not even close. Like, I don't even know where. So, like, the thing was,
blonde. They both wore a robe.
And so the only thing I saw that people were like, oh, well, Toni, like they made her out to be like a character from like the, you know, like the same time period as Toni Storm. And I was like,
I saw this. Yeah, I saw.
No, they're not, because Toni Storm is like a 1930s actress, and if they're going by what the cartoon is, which is based on Bewitched, was in the 50s and 60s. It's a completely different time period. So even if you're trying to say that that's the case, it's not even the same.
The first thing I saw when I saw the cartoon, I was like, "Oh, this is Bewitched." And
yes,
they were playing it like the intro to Bewitched. And I'm like, "Oh,
yes."
Okay. And they tied into Sabrina Carpenter because that's tied into like pop culture today, which WWE likes to capitalize off of. You can call it lazy all you want. They call it making money, and that's what business is all about. And as long as it's good, who gives a shit?
Right.
But then they found out that Blake, they're like, I don't even know. Like, the Blake name is a tie to her niece. Is like,
yes.
How are you going to hate on this woman for doing something like that? You guys are insane.
Right.
You're crazy. You're stupid.
By the way, there's really quick the hypocrisy of wrestling fans. You can't do anything that's too topical, right? Because if you do anything too topical, you're not inventive. But also, 7-year-old, Vine catchphrase is the worst thing ever. WWE's not even with the times. Yeet, that was old like 7 years ago. So you can't do something old, but you can't also then capitalize on something that just happened, which is brand new. So then you're not allowed to be in the zeitgeist, apparently. That's it.
Ride in this lane in a full-size car.
Oh, that's you know what? That's exactly how I was about to say. That's a lot of wrestling fans tend to look through a tunnel when they watch wrestling. It's complete tunnel vision, and that's the best way to put it.
I got a good laugh. I was like, okay, they really do live in a bubble. They truly do. Like, come on, guys. But
it's funny because I saw the vignette.
Both are girls, so they're blonde. They're both girls, and they both have boy names. There you go. That's why. So clearly, it's a complete.
That's the reason why she chose Blake. That's it.
No,
because it's
and I'll be honest. I think Blake Monroe is a better name than Mariah May.
I think we were very used to.
You're listening to a huge Mariah May fan too. Like, again, I thought she was the best female in AEW. So, yeah, I think it's a better name.
I will say this: a lot of people are like, "Well, Mariah Monroe was right there," and I was like, "Yeah, okay." But I'm also over like a lot of these people. I don't like it doesn't sound. Yeah. So Harry said the same. A lot of people are saying
fine. That's fine.
Right. I think that we're very used to calling her Mariah. I think if the last name changed, people wouldn't have gotten like when Io Shirai went to Io Sky. People were like, okay. I think it's but although you know what, I say that, but then people got mad at Ricky Saints instead of Ricky Starks. So I guess it's just wrestling.
There's no winning here. There's no winning here. Hey,
you can't change your name. You have to be the same thing all your entire career.
If you support wrestling, then you not wrestling. If you support the wrestlers and not companies, there's no reason you should be upset about any of this.
You hit the nail on the head.
Because
that's the thing.
This is their choice. They're choosing to do it. They're obviously completely okay with it because when they go to WWE, they understand that there's a very real possibility that they're going to have to change their name. And they're cool with that, or else they wouldn't have signed a contract.
Right.
And I will say that the name changes as of late, I would say over the last 4 years maybe, have worked out better. Like, there's not been any flops that I can think of off the top of my head.
There's nothing that's like horribly egregious. There's nothing that's so terrible.
We all got mad at LA Knight and it worked out for him. We got mad at Gunther, and it worked out.
We got mad about LA Knight, then they changed it to Max Dupree, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, why did you get rid of LA Knight?" When you got mad that they changed it to LA Knight in the first place.
So I think Max Dupree was probably the last bad one I can think.
That might be
off the top of my head, but
so since Triple H has taken over, I don't think there's been a bad name. Like people are like, oh, JC Mateo, that's terrible, but his initials were Jeff Cobb, so JC makes sense. He just added it to a name to the end, and it's fine.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get up. I'm not gonna waste my time arguing about someone mad about JC Mateo because get out. Y'all don't care that much. I know y'all don't. I know y'all don't care this much. You're just crazy.
Look, at the end of the day, wrestlers are going to do what they want for the betterment of themselves. They're not going to do it for you or anybody else. I am a big supporter of supporting professional wrestlers.
Yeah.
I don't care where they go. Bryan Danielson was one of my favorite wrestlers in the world. When he left WWE to go to AEW, I didn't cry about it. I went, oh, great. Now I have to watch another wrestling show because my guy's over there. No. When I saw Hangman Page the first time, I went, well, I guess I got to watch AEW now. I didn't think, oh, I really wish he could just come to WWE. Are there still points now where I think, man, it would be great because I really like Hangman and I really love MJF. I would love to see them on WWE Weekly because I would get to see them wrestle every week. But I'm not going to be mad that they're in AEW.
That's what I used to love about back in the day with WCW and WWF is I was like, man, it would be cool if these guys ever wrestled, and then they never did. So in my head, I get to picture how that match would have went, and it doesn't.
Undertaker and Sting.
I'm so glad that match never happened because there's no way it was ever going to live up to the expectations that these people put on it.
Yeah,
and I stand by that. That's the greatest match that never happened, and I'm glad it never happened. But I like the idea of like, oh man, I would love to see again Darby Allin or Brock Lesnar is a match I would pay good money to watch. I don't know why, I just would, and it's never going to happen, and that's fine because in my head I get to see it, and it's cool.
Right.
But
we all wanted Austin versus Goldberg. We never got that. Like, there's a lot of matches that
I'm so glad that I'm glad Austin and Hogan never happened.
Same here. Same here. Because it would have been a bad match. The Rock was the right person to have that match with Hogan.
Those creatives would have never. They would have clashed, and that match would have never happened.
Yeah.
Real quick, I'm gonna mention AW real quick before we go. We are past time. I wish MJF didn't resign with it. I'm glad he did. I don't.
Me too, because this stuff with the Hurt Syndicate is so good.
Hey, I just don't know where he would fit into today's WWE. I think he needs to show me more because the Hurt Syndicate stuff, he is.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love this stuff with Adam Cole. I just don't think that he's been very up and down.
It's everything in between. It's since the Adam Cole stuff. He's been, and this Hurt Syndicate thing is finally put him back up onto an upward trajectory.
But I do want to give a shout out because I have clowned on the Death Rider stuff, and I clown on Hangman Page all the time. Even though I've said recently, like as much as I don't like the guy, he's been phenomenal for AW. The segment they had on Dynamite last night was beautiful. It was beautiful. This is why the Death Riders thing makes me mad is because I like Jon Moxley and I know he's capable of doing some really good stuff. And that's the stuff I want to see from him. I think he just goes overboard sometimes. There's nobody saying stop. He just does it. And it's like,
I agree.
But last night was beautiful. And at this point, there's 3 people I think could dethrone him. And I think Hangman's one of them. Darby is obviously the front runner because that's the kind of stuff they do. They have an idea and they stick with it no matter what. But if you're asking me, I think Will Ospreay makes the most sense.
So
because Darby may have planted a flag on Mount Everest, but nobody has been ride or die for that AEW company more than Will Ospreay. That man literally is on a 14-hour flight to and then a 14-hour flight back every single week to be there and do whatever he's told.
And somehow still has time to do media, by the way.
And he has not lost an ounce of steam. Like his entrances are electric. It's fantastic. And I think it's insane that he has not become AEW World Champion at this point. That's insane to me.
I say this all the time.
I'm a Darby guy too, so I won't be too mad if it's him.
So I say this all the time. If you are a fan of the style of wrestling that Will Ospreay wrestles, there is nobody better than Will Ospreay at it.
No.
I personally sometimes am not the biggest fan of that style. There's a couple of things that to me in ring are problematic with Will Ospreay. To me personally, so he's not there. That being said, if there are two people in AEW right now that should be dethroning Jon Moxley, it should either have been the two guys that were at the end of the Owen. And I think that it was either Ospreay or it was Hangman. I think
it was great booking. That was great booking.
I think they've done, both of them are tremendous, people to do it. Here's the thing. I'm not as big of a Darby fan as you are. I do understand how over Darby Allin is. But if they wait until September to pull the trigger on this Death Riders thing, people are going to start revolting. It's getting old now, and it's been getting old for like 3 months. And if they stretch this out another 3 months, I don't know how you do it.
I think isn't All Out a week after All In?
You might maybe.
That's how it's been the past few years. I haven't checked, which I have not been in tune to AEW that much recently. Unfortunately, it just hasn't been clicking to me. But I did watch it last week because I was in the hospital and I had nowhere else to go. So I sat there and I watched all 4 hours of it. And I liked more than I hated, which is a refreshing thing. And they're doing this because of the NBA Finals, Harry. But I will say this about they could literally do it a week after. Darby could show up at All In, get his revenge on Mox after they're beating down Hangman. I don't know, something like that. And then he challenges them and then he does it All Out. That could happen. But to me, Darby Allin is to AEW what Diamond Dallas Page was to WCW. He's that guy. He's the guy where it's like, man, when is it going to be his time? And then we wait. And he takes a licking, but he keeps on kicking. And he finally gets his moment, and it's awesome, and it's beautiful. And that's what I look at when I look at Darby Allin. So Harry says, I don't care who he drops it to. All right, he should drop it to Adam Cole, baby. That's the show.
That's great because I have the Paragon, so that's a good idea.
Oh, wait, no, hold on a second. Drop it to Mercedes. That's the only thing that's stopping me from really being involved in AEW right now. This. I can't stand this woman. I just can't. I'm sorry. But we went over 10, 11, whatever minutes. So we're going to say our goodbyes. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. We will not be gone 2 weeks, as far as I know, as long as something else doesn't need to come out of my body. But until then.
And my shows are done, so
yeah, there we go. So I hope you had a great time with your shows.
Thank you.
I would have actually loved to watch this one. Bride of Frankenstein is really cool.
Really, really cool. We had, I think, out of the 6 shows, 5 of them were sold out. So great crowd. So really, really good time.
Okay. Thank you for the great show. Thank you very much, Courtney. Much appreciated.
Love your support, Courtney.
For the ones that are in here, again, I came back to Twitter to talk to y'all. I felt like I got disconnected with the wrestling friends that I've made, so I came back to Twitter for y'all. So make sure you check to make sure you follow me because I followed. I'm pretty sure I followed everyone back. Making it a tight circle this time. I'm not going crazy and talking to a bunch of wild people. But yes, thank you for watching. Thank you for being patient while we were gone, and we will not make you wait so long next time. So, toodles. I didn't think of one because I was doing other things, but I will one day. It will happen.
It still works.
I hate you, Solo. There we go.
Bye.